Hey, that's like. Howdy, I'm Matt, and in this episode, something special for you. We've got some Nano Talon on Nano Talon action, and it's on 4S as well. So with that said, what we're going to do, we're going to jump across to the flight line. We'll do the little intro from the flight line and stuff like that. And then I'm going to join you again in a few moments' time, and then we're going to have a little bit of a chit-chat about the Nano Talon as we're up in the sky. And also, I would like to claim the first Nano Talon unscheduled landing. Brilliant! Right, you're on board with the Nano Talon on 4S, and we've got another one coming up as well. So, yeah, might end in magic smoke. Don't have a lost model alarm in it. And then I've got a target for us to hit. What could go wrong?
Engines off.
Yeah, it's weird. You've got to give it a bit of throttle before the stabiliser kicks in.
Situation normal. All fucked up.
Go on, let's get a launch in. Hey, that's like. Howdy, it's Matt again. Now, as you can see here in the background, or behind me, is that we've got the HD footage on board with the Nano Talon. So while we're flying around and I'm trying to find Andrew in the sky, is that what I thought you would appreciate is a rundown on this model. So I tell you what, while we're here, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go and deconstruct this, because it is potentially one of the simplest kits I've ever put together. So you'll see me just picking out these surfaces, and that's it. That's the build in short. A couple of things to note about the actual build itself is, number one, it's ridiculously simple. And many of you know from the unboxing, which if you haven't seen that, is in the top right hand corner of your screen, is that I did have some concerns over the plug and play motor which came provided. Now on 3S it was fine. Okay, it wasn't a speed demon, it wasn't like a super fast rocket, but on 3S it was fine. And for the maiden flight I put a 1300 3S battery pack in the model, and by the looks of it I'm up there chasing some seagulls which were up in a thermal. So I just flown up there to see if I could go and catch a thermal and maybe a bird or two. So that's the reason why I've just flown really high. And oh, I think I found a birdie. Oh yeah, look, birdie. Sorry, I'm watching this as you're seeing it. Naughty Matt. Just inspecting the birds and the wildlife. Anyway, coming back to the model. In short, I was a little bit worried about the setup. On 3S, it's perfectly adequate, but I will go on and change the motor on the back. You'll find out why in just a few moments' time. The ESC, I was really worried about the ESC cooking itself. Even on 4S, it comes down hot, but not ridiculously hot. So if you're worried about you're buying a plug and play kit and you do need to upgrade the ESC. If you have one to hand, I would personally suggest doing that. That's what I'm going to go on and do with mine, is change it to a proper plain ESC. You don't need anything major. If you put a 30 amp ESC in this with that motor, because it only pulls about, I think the max current pull was about 14 amps on 4S, is that it's going to be complete overkill. But with a plain ESC, oh, we're chasing Andrew. Look at that. I think I was about a foot away from him at the rear of his mini Talon, and he'd been and bought one exactly the same time as me. Anyway, coming back to the model, yeah, definitely on a personal level, I will be changing the ESC out, because I want an ESC in there which has got a heatsink on it. That said, the quad ESC has worked perfectly fine. So if you're worried about buying the plug and play kit and the components which you get are utter crap, that is not the case at all. We went out flying today, 3S and 4S, and it was absolutely fine. Let's move on to the battery setup, and the battery setup which I used in for the flights. Like I said, a 1300 milliamp 3S pack up in the nose, just about an inch away from the front of the nose, and it was absolutely fine, more than adequate to fly around on. That's what we did in the maiden. However, This flight, which you're seeing here in the background, and I'm just looking at it, it's so cool flying this thing out today, and the stabilizer was brilliant. We'll get onto that topic in just a moment. Anyway, coming back to my point, the battery, this flight was done on a 1600 4S Turnigy pack, and I did need to push that back quite far. The limit is there is a bit of foam back there and I can't push it back far enough, so I am going to get the craft knife out and cut a little wedge out of there so I can get a bigger battery in there. And it was flying around quite nose heavy, and I did have to put quite a bit of up in there to balance it. So those of you thinking about sticking a huge great big battery in the nose, you're going to need to put some weight in the back to balance it out. And remember, think about that wing loading. Too much weight in this model is probably going to be overkill. And also, those of you thinking about putting a huge battery in here, you may not need it. This stock motor on the back, which is a 2204 1870 kV motor, is only on 3S, it's only pulling 10.3 amps, and that's including the video transmitter, the hub OSD board, and the Runcam Mini Swift in the nose as well. And by the way, I will put full setup details of my current setup down in the video description for you, so just click on show more and all the details are in there for you. So battery, yeah, definitely do need to carve a little bit out inside to make it fit to mount it up underneath. Now, there is another note here, is that this foam, the black foam is EPP, the white foam is EPO. So I do feel that the description on Banggood was not entirely accurate, because less than half of the model is made out of EPP. Personally, I would have preferred for it to be all EPP foam, and the reason for that, and by the way, I know that EPP is slightly heavier, but EPP foam is much tougher than EPO. That said, the molding process, which the guys have been in, obviously mastered, and let me just go and grab the wing. So you've got white EPO foam on the top, but there on the bottom you've got black EPO foam. Putting this again, I can see that we've got the end coming up very shortly. Is that putting this model together, absolute child's play, and it flies really, really good. The stabilizer, the day when we were flying this, it was really, really windy. We were getting chucked around all over the shop, and for 99% of this flight, I was flying in stabilized mode, and the stabilizer was easy to set up. The mode switch was obvious, and it really did help. So a hat tip to ZOHD, which we all know is actually a company called Sonic Model. You've done a really good job on the stabilizer, and it did take what was an awkward day for flying and turned it into something which you could fly, and it was most enjoyable. So with that said, if you have any questions about the Nano Talon, keep in the back of your mind that I did buy that Nano Talon out of my own money for my own abuses. Also, I'd like to be 100% clear, any of the links which are in the video descriptions are affiliate links, so if you use any of those, you will be supporting this YouTube channel. With that said, I would like to claim the first unscheduled landing of a Nano Talon, and I think it's coming up in just a few moments' time. So with that said, from myself, Matt, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this episode, and I'll see you again shortly. Cheerios! Oh, before I go, one massive tip for you, and it's not just for the Nano Talon, it's for any EPO or EPP model of any shape or form. On your wings, is that if you put just a piece of clear sellotape, which I don't know how well that's going to come out on the camera, hopefully you can see that up there. All I've done is put a piece of clear sellotape all the way along the leading edge of the wing, and when I perhaps land in a tree, which like I said you'll find out in a few moments time, is that there's no marks on the leading edge of this wing. If I'd not done that, then I would have potentially damaged my model, and for something which takes what, 2-3 minutes to do for both wings, really, really simple, and it will save your models. Anyway, I'm going now. Enjoy the rest of the flight. Cheerios! So there you go, that's the first landing of a Nano Talon to our knowledge. And that's what's happened. The wing, the sellotape on the wing has made a massive difference, no damage there. Yeah, I think I got away with that right. The wings have just popped off. Battery is lukewarm. And again, this one's being flown on 4S. And the little ESC is very toasty, but not ridiculous. So you can run the Nano Talon on 4S. Just be aware, if you're going to absolutely cane it continuously on 4S, you would definitely want to upgrade that ESC to a decent one, and again I will do that on mine. But the stabiliser, absolutely bloody fantastic. So with that said, from myself, Matt, and the Nano Talon, happy days. Cheerios.